checked with the Raspberry Pi. So there are certain things that you need for the hardware. So we are going to be controlling the LED using the Raspberry Pi. So to start, you need the Raspberry Pi. I have connected it to my laptop because the Wi-Fi is way outside the room. Okay, so next you need the LED, some jumper cables, specifically 2. If you want to connect more LEDs, you can take more, and also you'll need the LED. And then you need a resistor for each LED. So I have this 1k ohm resistor, but you can take any resistor that is above at least maybe 100 or 200 ohms. So yeah, then you need a breadboard, and that is basically all of it. So let's go to the software. Okay, so for the software part, you will need to install this using this command. And if you are going to use Python 3, then you just need to put a 3 in front of Python. But in this video, I'm going to be using normal Python. So now let's get back to our wiring of the LED. Okay, so you'll need the breadboard, and what you're gonna do with the breadboard is you're gonna take your LED and you're just gonna plug it in to somewhere. So I'm going to plug it in right here, and you can see it's in those 2 holes. So the way the breadboard is connected is these rows are connected vertically, and these rows are connected vertically, and these are connected sideways. So go ahead and put your LED on here, and you'll need to take a note of where you put the long end and the short end. So the long end is the positive terminal of the LED and the short end is the negative. So you need to run the power supply into the positive. So now just take your jumper cable and plug it in on the row where you have the positive end of the LED connected. So right here. Alright, it's in that row. And now just take your resistor. I have a 1k ohm resistor, and you're going to put it into the row where the negative end of the LED is connected, and then put the second end right here. So just like that. Hope you can see. So the negative end is this, and it is connected with this, and then the second end of the resistor is put in here. So now take another jumper cable and just plug it in onto this, so it is connected. So the resistor needs to go to the black wire, and the positive end of the LED needs to go to the red wire. And now you're gonna bring in your Raspberry Pi. I have a model B of Raspberry Pi 3. So for this model, the pin numbering is as follows. So I'll put up a diagram in a minute so you can check it out. And so the red wire that is going to be the input is going to go in the 6th pin on the right. So holding your Raspberry Pi like this, you're going to put it on the 6th pin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right there, 6th pin, it's in. And now you're gonna take the black wire and you're gonna put it on pin number 3. 1, 2, 3. So there it goes. And there you have it. That's the hardware. The wiring. And let's get started with the coding. Okay, so now go to your Raspberry Pi. I have connected my Raspberry Pi through real VNC, so you can connect your HDMI and stuff. So let's get started with this. So I'm just going to go into documents, and I'm right there. Then I'm going to make a dir, so mkdir, and I'm going to write it as YouTube, and I'm going to move to that directory, and I'm going to make a file that is with leafpad. So, and I'm going to write I'm going to name the file as led.py, and that opens leafpad. And now what you want to do is from GPIO0 import LED, and that's going to be in all caps. And now what you're going to do is import time, and that is it. So for our first test, we are going to try turning on the LED. So I'm going to specify LED and assign LED. Okay, so what this does is it takes the LED, and you have to specify the pin number here. So currently, if you have followed along, your pin number is going to be 18. So you need to type in 18, and basically that's it. You have set up your LED. Now you're going to turn on the LED. So you do that by typing LED dot on and the parentheses. Then you're going to time dot sleep for 5 seconds. Oops, 5 seconds, and then you're going to turn off the LED. So .off and done. And that is basically it for a first try. So what it's going to do is it is going to turn on the LED. It's going to stay on for 5 seconds, and then it's going to turn off the LED. So let's test it out. So let's just save it by Control S. Why isn't it working? Save, and then close this. Then I'm going to type Python led.py, and when I hit enter, it should turn on the LED. So let's check it out. And yes, indeed it is turned on, so that's good, and it's off after 5 seconds basically. So let's try doing something complex. So I am going to try doing something that will blink the LED. So let's try it. So leafpad again, and what I'm gonna do is do this. So k equals input, and I'm going to type some text, sleep for colon, and then I'm going to close the parentheses. So basically we are going to type something, and that is going to be stored in k. So we are going to type an integer, and that's going to be stored in k. You'll see why it's helpful. Okay, for now let's just do a while loop. So while true, and while it is true, I want this does not need, let's just put it here. Okay, so we are almost set up, and then we are gonna specify this as toggle. So basically what toggle does is that it changes the state of the LED. So if it is on, it will turn it off, and if it is off, it will turn it on. So now for time.sleep, I'm going to specify it as k. So basically we are going to sleep for k amount of time, and k is going to be the number that we enter. So I'm going to do this as toggle, and then we need to sleep for k, and that's basically done. That's simple as that. And what we are going to do with this is it is going to blink the LED. So we are going to specify the time sleep, and then it is going to run the while loop, and basically this is going to run forever unless and until we do a keyboard interrupt. So it is going to turn on, sleep for k seconds, turn off, sleep for k seconds, and it's going to do that again and again. So let's test it out. Okay, so now I'm going to hit enter, and I'll need to specify time for, I'm going to just do 0.5 maybe. Let's do it. Enter. Okay, it's blinking, and it's gonna do that for ever. So it's gonna sleep for 0.5 seconds and it's going to turn on. So we are going to do a keyboard interrupt by doing Control C, and that stops it. So now let's do it again, but this time with faster blinks. So I'm going to specify it as 0.1. I guess that would be okay. Let's hit enter, and you can see it's blinking fast.